Hi, I'm Devin, and today's video is a recap of the 2020 Cleveland Auto Show. Sorry about the delay in upload, as the software I used to edit these videos, iMovie, was not working over the past few months. It has since started working again, so I thought now's as good a time as any to upload a new video. I will now share some of my favorite cars I saw at the show. To start, we have the all-new Ford Mustang Mach-E. This is Ford's first all-electric car and has a targeted max range of 300 miles. While it is a Mustang by name, it is no sports coupe. The crossover features pretty conservative styling and is slightly boring. The grabber blue paint option would probably help fix that. Next is the Volvo V60 Cross Country. This wagon has Volvo's T5 turbo 4-cylinder powertrain. Pair that with the standard all-wheel drive and 8-speed transmission, this lifted wagon handles inclement weather just as good as any crossover. The interior is copy and paste from every other Volvo, which is a good thing, as material choice and fit and finish are excellent. The car comes standard with a 12.3-inch digital gauge display and a 9-inch infotainment screen. It also comes standard with a power panoramic moonroof. The cabin and trunk are both very spacious and can accommodate most families and their stuff. Many looking for crossovers should really consider the V60 Cross Country as a worthy alternative. The Land Rover Defender is back for 2020 and completely redesigned. It is no longer a utilitarian truck with roots in military and agricultural use, but a luxurious SUV with the latest modern amenities. Those include a 10-inch touchscreen and a screen for a rearview mirror. A cool option is a jump seat replacing the center console to increase seating to 6 passengers. This is the all-new BMW 2 Series Grand Coupe. I'll admit I was skeptical about this model, as it is based on a front-wheel drive architecture and looks like a Corolla with a kidney-grown BMW badges, but I was impressed. The frameless doors and extremely luxurious interior felt very premium. The front seats were very sporty in this top-trim M235i model, and the rear seats seemed to have ample space for a compact sedan with a sloping roofline. The car also comes standard with BMW's xDrive all-wheel drive system. While the starting price of over $38,000 may seem like a lot, if you are dead set on getting a BMW, the 2 Series Grand Coupe does not disappoint. On to Millionaire's Row, the new Rolls-Royce Cullinan Black Badge looks very cool with blacked out trim and red brake calipers, but the shape of the Cullinan does remind me of another British automotive icon. Speaking of familiar designs, the new 911 looks exactly like the old 911. The 992 generation is all new though, with small details like pop-out door handles and a slightly wider body distinguishing it from the 991 car. Another new car from Porsche that actually feels new is the Taycan, their first fully electric car. I like the look of the logo in the back, rising out of what looks like a circuit board. Strangely, Porsche stuck with their traditional nomenclature for trim levels, and even though this car doesn't even have an engine, it is called the Turbo. Lotus replaced the Evora 400 with the Evora GT for 2020, and the updated car has slightly more power, 16 more horsepower than the previous model's 400 from the same supercharged 3.5-liter V6. The GT is also lighter than the 400 by about 100 pounds. Did you know the Lotus Evora gets its engine from Toyota, who previously used it without the supercharger in cars like the Camry and Sienna? Moving on to Genesis, the G70 received very few updates for 2020, but is still fantastic inside and out. I feel its styling is a lot cleaner than the Korean luxury brand's new design language and should age better. I like the boomerang vent on the front fenders. The new cars like the GV80 and the G90 shown here have grills that are so big they could swallow someone. Even though the 8th generation car is right around the corner, the Mark 7 Volkswagen Golf is still on sale, and that is a great thing. Like Genesis, I feel Volkswagen messed with the styling too much on their new cars. The Mark 7 is a much prettier shape. The interior on the GTI model is still really cool, with a manual shifter that looks like a golf ball. I forgot to take exterior shots of the next couple of cars, so I found pictures of nearly identically optioned models. The VW Arteon is a really interesting car that serves as Volkswagen's most premium sedan. It has a really nice interior with lots of leather surfaces and plenty of rear leg and headroom. Some cool details include interior mood lighting, frameless doors, and an analog clock placed above the infotainment system, a staple of VW luxury sedans like the Phaeton and CC. The next car I was quite impressed by was the Audi A6. It had an incredible interior, with lots of tech and a really nice wood trim on the dash and doors. If you pressed on either of the two center screens, they had haptic feedback and would feel like you were clicking an actual button. I liked that the puddle lights on all 4 doors were the Audi rings. I was not that impressed with Cadillac's offerings. First was the new XT6, which felt cheap and pretty boring, especially when compared to the new Hyundai Palisade, which I looked at later. The CT5V was equally uninspiring, with a design that didn't try anything new, except for that strange C-pillar, and an interior that felt nice but looked bland for a luxury car. Hopefully Cadillac changes this, which it looks like they will with the Escalade, because the competition is fierce right now. On to Lincoln, who, unlike Cadillac, has been doing fantastic lately. I sat in the Corsair, which is based on the Ford Escape, but you would never know it because it felt amazing. The seats were insanely comfortable, and the blue leather made them look as good as they felt. The door chimes created by the Detroit Symphony Orchestra and the piano key drive selector buttons made it feel like you were in a way nicer car than a Lincoln. I also looked at the Nautilus, the next size up in Lincoln's SUV lineup, which is based on the Ford Edge. It wasn't as nice as the Corsair, but that makes sense because the Corsair is all new, and the Nautilus is technically just a rebadge and facelift of the MKX, which was last fully redesigned in 2016. I wanted to show it here though because I really like how Lincoln displays their model names, and I didn't get a shot of the Corsair's exterior. Normally, Lexus's offerings are somewhat boring, but last year I really liked the LC Coupe, and this year Lexus brought the new convertible model. I think it looks even better than the hardtop car, especially this one with the 21-inch wheels and the two-tone red and black interior. The coolest design element is definitely the taillights, which look like 3D Ls fading into the trunk. Onto Hyundai, the new Sonata was at the show, this one being the hybrid model. It looks alright, but I think that the new Kia Optima, which has not gone on sale yet in the US, has a better, sportier design. The interior, though, is great. The steering wheel has an interesting shape, and the buttons you select gears with make the new Sonata feel much more modern than the previous generation. Now for the Palisade. There were 3 at the show, and all 3 were completely surrounded the whole day. I could barely get near this SEL model. If the crowds of people flocking to this car say anything about sales figures, Hyundai is making a killing. The interior was very nice, with lots of space and many smart features, like the cup holders that fold away to allow for a larger storage space. I can see why the Palisade, as well as its platform share, the Kia Telluride, are so popular. While crossovers like the Palisade are extremely popular for families, I think that minivans offer more and tend to be less expensive. The Chrysler Pacifica received a quite significant mid-cycle refresh, bringing a much more chiseled design that looks a lot better than the softer lines of previous years. The update also added all-wheel drive to the Pacifica, while still retaining the Stone-Go flat-folding seats. Too many people pass up minivans as ugly and boring, but I think they compromise on less than many three-row crossovers. Up next is GM, and probably the most anticipated new model of 2020, the C8 Corvette. To keep up with foreign competition, Chevy has moved the engine to behind the driver for better balance and driving dynamics. While I think the exterior is a step in the wrong direction, with too many intersecting lines and too tall a rear end, the interior is a huge upgrade over the C7, which didn't necessarily have a bad interior. You can see in this shot the roof is still Targa style and can be stowed in the trunk like previous Corvettes. I think the performance of the new C8, as well as the starting price of under $60,000, will change the sports car market and make competitors really rethink their offerings. The brand new Chevy Tahoe and GMC Yukon were at this show, but not the Escalade. The Z71 Tahoe had an interior that was a decent upgrade over the previous generation, but nothing special. Previous Tahoes with the Z71 package were only slightly more off-road capable than standard trim levels, but this new one looks like it can handle a lot rougher terrain. The only Yukon at the show was the fully loaded Denali, and the exterior looked fantastic. The huge chrome grille gave it a very tough look, and the quad chrome exhaust tips signaled lots of power under the hood. Unlike the Tahoe, the Yukon's interior was something special, with really comfortable-looking leather and a more sophisticated dash layout. The Tahoe, Suburban, Yukon, and Escalade all have independent rear suspension now, which lowers the floor in the back and should lead to a smoother ride. Last was the Ram 1500 Rebel, which has by far the best interior and smoothest ride of any pickup truck. I would say it is the definitive choice for any truck buyer, but Fiat Chrysler reliability makes me concerned in the long run. The Rebel's composure on this course was still impressive. I hope you all enjoyed the video, found the auto show interesting, and maybe even learned something new. I wanted to let everyone know that this was all recorded in late February, before a certain virus started impacting these types of events. I know that right now is a very difficult time for many, but we will get through this. I wanted to upload this video as soon as I could to provide interesting content for the many people staying at home with nothing else to do or watch. I'm going to start working on creating 2 different podcasts, one about cars and one about technology, that should be coming out in the coming weeks. If you have any thoughts or suggestions, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. Remember to stay safe, everyone, and see you in the next video.